The banking issues have slowed down for the time being, but doesn't mean it's gone away. These things tend to come in phases. And so technology and crypto tend to outperform. Crypto's been consolidating for a while, but it's still up 50, 60% on the year, still the best performing asset. But again, it's likely to pick up as liquidity comes forward, as shown by our forward-looking liquidity indicators. And we've probably got 20 or 30 different things we could show you to say that liquidity is going up. So I remain massively bullish. There will be a correction at some point in all of this. As people start throwing in the towel in the short positions, then we might get a correction before we continue to move higher later on in the summer. So overall, super bullish.
Hey guys, welcome back to Library of Wealth. Today we have Real Vision CEO Raoul Pal discussing his outlook for crypto and his prediction for the market in the second half of 2023. Pal points out the significant increase we've seen this year, not just with technology and cryptocurrency sectors that are up over 100%, but the S&P and the Nasdaq have seen extremely impressive gains as well. He also highlights the optimistic view he holds in the performance of stocks and the crucial roles we're seeing in market trends. Pal does suggest that the debt ceiling may be an issue very soon and addresses the confusion that investors are surrounded with, particularly when it comes to speculative positioning in the market. Let's get right into the latest interview with Raoul Pal, as he gives his crypto and market predictions for the second half of 2023 and what we can expect in the coming weeks. Don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe if you enjoy the content we do here on this channel. Let's get right into the video.
I think stocks and bonds will both rally eventually. That's what the big call is. That's what I think happens. So I think stocks and bonds rally. As I said, technology, crypto rally the most. If I just look down my Bloomberg right now, the S&P's up 8%, the Nasdaq's up 25%. I've been saying this since last year and everyone thought I was crazy. The exponential age basket that I talked about on Real Vision that everyone thought I was a complete idiot for, that's up about 40% this year. And, crypto, which everybody thought was completely dead, is up 50, 60, 70%, depending what you're looking at. Stuff like Solana's up 120%. I've had a very strong view for a while, which was that liquidity was everything. And I wrote all of this up in that Everything Code that I've talked a bit about, that interview with Nathaniel Whittingmore. I went through quite a lot of what the Everything Code is, but that's still kind of exclusive to GMI. But liquidity is everything. All of my forward-looking indicators have been suggesting that liquidity is going to keep rising and that it would drive crypto and tech more than anything else. And that's basically been the story of the year so far. And I think that continues. And that's confused a lot of people. The one trade that's confused me is the bond trade, and that's confused a lot of people. Bond yields should have fallen by now, and they still haven't. But I think this is to do with the debt ceiling issue, which is the other confusing thing. Because the debt ceiling issue has some real risks around it, and we don't really know how to price them. All we do know is people are pretty bearish around it, and I think that's reasonable too, to have hedged around it, because we don't know what can happen. But the chances are that anything that causes a paralysis of financial markets will lead to that expression I always use, more cowbell, more stimulus to come. So I'm going to run through a couple of charts very quickly, just to show some of the things that are on my radar screen so people can think about. So I'm going to start with my liquidity index. So this is the Global Macro Investor Weekly Liquidity Index. That's basically around the G5 central bank balance sheets. That we have our Financial Conditions Index, which is based around the dollar, rates, and a whole bunch of other stuff, which leads this, as does ISM. And it suggests that liquidity is going to keep rising all the way through this year. And the Everything Code suggests it actually keeps rising all the way through till the end of 2025. So yes, we might have some stumbling blocks. Yes, we might have some hurdles, but liquidity going forwards as the economy slows down and the central banks start increasing their activity, that will drive asset prices higher. So that's the first chart I wanted to show you. Why liquidity matters is this chart. This is the chart of the Nasdaq against that same liquidity index. That's the tightest correlation I've ever seen, and it explains 97.5% of all the movements in the Nasdaq is liquidity. And this is around this currency debasement idea. The more the central banks print, the more you're changing the denominator, not the actual value of the asset themselves. So again, the only assets that have really gone up in balance sheet terms are technology, the NASDAQ, and other like the exponential age stocks, and crypto. This is speculative positioning in the S&P 500. I have literally never seen anything like it. So the market is insanely bearish, which is why the NASDAQ's up 1.8% today, because people just don't want to believe it. They're angry. They want the market to go down. They want their bear market and they want their justice, and it's not happening. And the reason being is everybody's ridiculously, ludicrously short. And that's obviously driven by the debt ceiling. The other side of the debt ceiling is this chart, which is the speculative positioning in bonds. Now, bonds, as I mentioned before, have not been playing ball. I thought yields should be falling, but they haven't yet. But look what's going on here. This is the largest speculative short positioning in the history of the bond market. So if anything changes at the margin here, we're going to see a gigantic rally in bonds, which I'm still expecting, but this whole debt ceiling dynamic is getting in the way. Inflation dynamics, on the other hand, are falling very fast. Things like the Truflation Index, which is a real-time calculation on chain of millions of prices, suggests that US CPI as of today is 3.2%. I think it still goes to zero by June or July, which Alex Gurevich has been talking about both on Real Vision and also on Twitter as well. We're very in a small camp of that. The banking issues have slowed down for the time being, but doesn't mean it's gone away. These things tend to come in phases. And so technology and crypto tend to outperform. Crypto's been consolidating for a while, but it's still up 50, 60% on the year, still the best performing asset. But again, it's likely to pick up as liquidity comes forward, as shown by our forward-looking liquidity indicators. And we've probably got 20 or 30 different things we could show you to say that liquidity is going up. So I remain massively bullish. There will be a correction at some point in all of this. As people start throwing in the towel on the short positions, then we might get a correction before we continue to move higher later on in the summer. So overall, super bullish. The only one that's puzzling me is the bond market still hasn't played ball, but I think we need to get through this debt ceiling thing, and then a lot of hedges get unwound.
Powell notes the bearish sentiment prevailing in the market, with many investors shorting stocks and crypto in hopes it will lead to a significant rally. Cryptocurrency prices moved higher on Tuesday after Hong Kong's securities regulator announced it will allow retail trading of certain crypto assets starting June 1st. Bitcoin rose to just above $27,000 after struggling to break above $30,000 this month. Ethereum climbed nearly 2% to $1,851. Raoul does anticipate a slowdown in the economy soon and emphasizes that the resolution of the debt ceiling will have major implications for the market this year, particularly regarding cryptocurrency, as he expects liquidity to continue increasing based on all forward-looking indicators. What do you think about Raoul Pal's prediction for crypto, the stock and bond market, and what we can expect in the second half of 2023? Comment down below. Thanks so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. This is Library of Wealth. We'll see you in the next video.